Maybe you're swapping to a 5-speed. Maybe you've gone past your 10,000 mile rebuild interval for the automatic, but you need to get it out and you're not sure how. Well, let me show you. It's actually not a terrible job. So this was a crew cab long bed dually. This has the 2-piece drive shaft in the back. What you will need to do is remove the 4 bolts on the flange at the rear end. Those take a T35 Torx. Just crack those loose, take them off, the caps come off, and then you can drop the drive shaft. You will also need to drop your carrier bearing. This one wasn't doing so well. Bolts are all rusted and rounded off, so I just had to cut the strap. I think those are a 14 millimeter metric. If you can actually get them out, you take those 2 bolts out. Next, you'll be able to drop the drive shaft. Pull the carrier bearing out of the holder there, or you just leave that yoke holder on the carrier bearing if you like. But the drive shaft will just slide towards the rear. You can pivot it at the U-joint there in the middle and pull it out of the output shaft of the transmission. Just slides out. You'll get a little bit of fluid out of there, but not too much. You will have to undo 2 transmission cooler lines on the side. This is just a demo. I'm just wrecking this thing out. So I just cut those lines. You can get a line wrench onto the lines there on the side. Take those 2 loose, and your cooler lines are undone. You'll want to unhook the wiring connection for the transmission. So there are 2 places where that's done. One is here, the transmission range selector. The other is here at the top. You can just unclip both of those. You just have these little spring tabs. Come on, focus. You push that little tab down and pull, and those will both unhook. Once you've got that done, you can go ahead and remove your shift cable. This is just kind of a ball and socket arrangement that just pops loose. You just pull it back this way, it'll pop loose, and then you can either take 2 bolts out. You see those? I don't know if you can see them both or not. There's one here, one up here, and this bracket will come off, or you can just take the cable out of the bracket. This is a little safety that has to slide down. You pop this out, and then you're able to compress the 2 little fingers on the side, and this cable comes out of the bracket this way. Okay, so once you've got that done, you'll need to unbolt the torque converter. The torque converter unbolts through the inspection cover right here. For this, there are 4 bolts in the inspection cover. 2 here on the bottom and 2 on the sides. Those are either a sloppy 10 millimeter or a 3/8. I had to use a 3/8 to get these out. I think they're actually 3/8 bolts. So I used the 3/8 to take those out. Once you're done with that, you can unbolt the torque converter. So up inside, see if I can get you some light. See the studs there? I think there are 6 of those guys. 2, 4, maybe 7 of those. And those are 14 millimeter. Alright guys, just a couple other things here. I forgot on these trucks with this style of transmission mount, But you do have to pull those upper braces loose. So on this one, you can probably see I pulled the rear bolt out, loosened the front one. That allows me to kind of swing this thing out of the way so that I can slide this bottom cross member out towards the rear. You can do that on both sides. This truck is, I'm just scrapping this truck. It's not something I'm going to ever need to put back together. And one of the bolts on this side is just completely rusted and rounded out. So I just notched the back end of it out. I can pry this up just enough that I can slide this cross member. I'll get you in the frame here. I just notched it. So I can just slide this cross member out this direction. There are 6 Bellhousing bolts in here. They are 19mm heads. And generally what I do is I leave the bottom 2 in until I am ready to put the transmission jack under it. That way I don't have the jack in the way for taking the top 4 out. So you can see there's one clear up there at the top. You can hardly see, kind of there in the middle of the frame. And then there's another one that's down a little bit lower. It's pretty easy to get to. The way that I like to do these is I put a universal on the end of a long set of extensions and just kind of work from back here near the tail shaft and just reach up in there. Makes it a little bit easier than trying to wrestle these things loose from the top end. This truck is a little tighter than most. The cab corners in this truck are completely rotted out and the cab sits way too low. So I had to actually put a floor jack underneath the cab and jack it up in order to get clearance there. But there, you kind of get the idea there. Having all of these universals in here allows you to get back towards the back end of the transmission where you've got some room to work, or having all the extensions, and then one universal in the end allows you to get the angle there that you need to get on the head of the bolt. And you can do that for both of the top bolts. The one on the passenger side is a little bit harder to reach just because you've got the downpipe and everything in the way, but you actually end up working from right in this space. So you'll actually reach up in alongside here. You can kind of wrangle your way. Let's see if I can get you the shot here. You see that bolt right up in there? Right there. See in there? You can kind of get onto the head of that and get it spun loose. They're generally not terribly tight. Once you crack them loose, you can pretty much just loosen them by hand. So there's that one, and then I've got 1, 2 more to take loose on this side. So I'll take that top one loose and then leave the bottom ones. Then I'll get the jack underneath here, and I only have to fight the jack for space to take 2 bolts out. Transmission is located on dowels, so it's not like you're gonna drop the thing out if you've got only 2 bolts in place. For the dipstick, you got a couple of options. There's actually a split in the dipstick tube. You can kind of see it right there in the middle of the frame. You can either just let it slip apart right there, or if you want to, you can take it out completely. There's one bolt on the back of the passenger side head that holds a little mounting bracket for the dipstick on the top end there. So I'll probably just let it split right here in the middle of the tube. So that's about it. I'm going to get the floor jack in here. I'll buzz that one bolt out, then we'll put the jack under it and take the last 2 bolts out so we can drop this thing out. Alright, as you can see, I've got my transmission jack under here. You can do this without a transmission jack. You can either get down here and just muscle this thing out with a couple of guys, or maybe one if you're in pretty good shape. You can do it with a floor jack if you like. It's a little sketchy that way. If you know you're going to be doing this and you're saving yourself some money by doing the job, I would encourage you just to spend a little bit of money. Invest in your tools. That's how you're saving yourself money anyways, by being able to use those tools. So pick yourself up a floor or a transmission jack. This one's just an inexpensive one from Hardware Freight. It does have knobs on here. This one lets you adjust in two different directions. You can kind of turn it here and adjust this way. You can turn this knob and adjust it this way. Makes it a lot easier to stab these things when you're putting them back together. But for this job, basically just get it up against there, level it up, put a little pressure, take the bolts out, pry just a little bit, and she pops right loose. So at this point, I think I've got this thing just sitting on the transmission jack, and you can just slide it out. So not too bad a job. This truck was running and driving this morning, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely doable in a weekend. So at this point, I'll just wheel this thing on out from under here. I may have to jack up the back end of this truck to get enough clearance to get it out from under the frame rail. This is a two-wheel drive truck, so it sits a little lower to the ground, but yeah, that's about all there is to it. And there you have it, one E4OD automatic. And just for the record, there are 6 torque converter bolts. So that clears that up. Like I said, really not a terrible job. Gonna spend some time rolling around onto the truck on your back, but can be done with basic hand tools. The largest socket you need is the 19mm. It fits these Bellhousing bolts. Everything else is pretty standard. Yeah. Caught the connector for the transmission range sensor on something and busted it a little bit there, but pretty sure that'll still work, or if somebody's swapping this into a truck that's already got a transmission in it, they can swap that TRS over. But yeah, not a terrible job. If you've got any questions about this, feel free to post them in the comments below. I do try and curate those comments pretty closely, so if there's a question or an issue, let me know. Thanks for watching.